I stood in the attic, the air thick with dust, and the scent of forgotten memories. As I rummaged through boxers stacked precariously atop one another, a worn leather journal caught my eye. My heart raced as I lifted it from its resting place, the cover cracked and frayed with age. It belonged to my late mother, a treasure trove of secrets waiting to be unearthed. Mom always said I had a wild imagination. I whispered to myself, the weight of her words echoing in my mind. I had always been painted as the liar in my family, dismissed whenever I tried to share memories of that one event she insisted never happened. But as I sat down amidst the dust motes dancing in the sunlight filtering through the rafters, I felt drawn to uncover the truth. What lay inside this diary could change everything. My fingers trembled as I opened it, the pages crisp and yellowed with time. The first entry took me back to a time when hope mingled with fear. "I need to protect them," it began, scribbled hastily as if my mother had been on the brink of something. But protect whom? A chill crept up my spine. Were we part of a story I had never known? Suddenly, the attic door creaked open. My daughter Emily poked her head in, her eyes wide with curiosity. "What's that, Mom?" she asked, a hint of excitement in her voice. "It's Grandma's diary," I replied, a lump forming in my throat. As Emily climbed up to sit beside me, I felt an odd sense of trepidation. Could the truth my mother sought to shield me from be hiding in these words? "Can I read it?" Emily asked eagerly. I hesitated but nodded. As she began to read aloud, her voice filled the empty space around us, weaving the past with the present. Each sentence drew us deeper into a web of anguish and dreams. My heart raced with every entry she spoke. "Mom, why do you look so upset?" Emily paused, glancing at me. "Is something wrong?" I shook my head, but doubt flooded my mind. What if my memories were tainted by my mother's silence? What if there was a reason she called me a liar? Before we continue unraveling this tangled family legacy, I need to remind you who follow our stories. YouTube has been cleaning up subscriptions lately, so check if you're still subscribed and give us a like to help support the channel. Now, as Emily flipped to another page, I felt a storm of revelations brewing. Would the next entry bring clarity, or would it shatter the last remnants of the truth I thought I knew? Emily's fingers traced the worn pages, filled with my mother's elegant script. Her voice, a sweet melody of innocence, echoed through the attic as she continued, unaware of the weight of the words she pronounced. April 14th, 1985. "Today, I saw something I shouldn't have. I can't let them find out. I know what they're capable of." Her tone slipped from excitement to confusion, and I felt my heart drop. What had my mother seen? Who were they? "I didn't realize Grandma had such secrets," Emily remarked, pausing to look at me, her brows knitted together. The flickers of understanding in her young eyes made me uneasy. I managed a weak smile, shifting in my seat as dread curled in my stomach. What else was hidden behind the ink? As she read on, the entries revealed fragments of my mother's reality. A life lived under the weight of something unspeakable, worries of losing her family. Glimpses of shadows lurking in corners of her past. "I'm scared," one entry said, "but I must be strong." Strong. Strong against what? Panic started to bubble up inside me. My mom had always portrayed herself as invincible, a fortress against the world. But the vulnerability penned down in her diary was deeply unsettling. Suddenly, Emily stopped again, her expression shifting from innocent curiosity to a mix of concern and awe. "Mom, what if this is about you? You said she always called you a liar. What if she knew something?" Her question sent shivers down my spine. What if my mother's fears and secrets were woven into our family's very fabric? And here we were, unraveling threads of connection that had long been buried. I don't know," I stammered, my voice barely above a whisper. "But we have to find out." With every entry, it felt as though the journal was peeling away layers of our family history, revealing not just my mother's past but mine, as well. Could this be the monumental shift we needed to heal long-standing wounds? Would facing these truths bring us closer, or would we stumble further into the shadows that lay between us? "Keep reading," I said with a newfound determination. As the words continued to weave a tapestry of secrets, lies, and an aching search for connection. What awaited us on the next page felt like a thunderstorm on the horizon, brewing with promises of revelations that could either unite or divide us. The truth was out there, and we were just beginning to scratch the surface. Don't miss what happens next. What truth will emerge from the pages, and will it change everything? Stay tuned for more as we dive deeper into the diary's revelations. The pages turned, and I felt the weight of history enveloping us. My daughter's voice resonated in the attic stillness, each word pulling me deeper into a world I barely recognized. April 20th, 1985. I couldn't sleep last night. The shadows in the hallway won't leave me alone. Emily's brow furrowed as she read, her youthful innocence contrasting sharply with the dark undertones emerging from my mother's thoughts. Mom, did she really see shadows? Like ghosts? She asked, her eyes wide with both fear and fascination. I swallowed hard, my mind racing. No, I don't think so, sweetie. She meant something else, something more complicated. But even as I tried to simplify it, doubt gnawed at me. What if those shadows were metaphors for secrets that lurked behind closed doors? April 25th, 1985. I spoke to him today. I thought he could be trusted, but I was wrong. I can't let him find out what I know. Emily's voice faltered, and I noticed her glancing at me, seeking reassurance. How could I provide that when I was grappling with the same fears? Mom, do you think whoever she spoke to is still around? She ventured, her gaze searching my face for answers. The chilling reality struck me. What if my mother had entangled us in more than just family drama? What if her secrets were etched in dangers I had never acknowledged? Let's just keep reading, I replied, trying to mask the tremor in my voice, as my heart pounded in my chest. As Emily read on, each entry seemed to orbit around a pivotal event that had left scars on our family scars. My mother had hidden under a veil of unconditional love. The entries grew more frantic, my mother pouring her fears onto the page. I can't tell her the truth. She'll never understand. It's too dangerous. Every phrase felt like a weight crashing down. Was I a part of whatever turmoil my mother faced? A mix of anger and betrayal surged inside me each time I uncovered an unspoken truth. Did she really believe I couldn't handle it? Why would she think I couldn't? I murmured, almost to myself. Emily wasn't fully aware, but I feared the revelation would be like a match thrown on a gasoline-soaked mystery. Then, just as I prepared myself for the next chapter of my mother's story, Emily's voice broke through the fog of my thoughts. Mom, there's a name here, Walter. Who's Walter? The mention of the name sent a jolt through me. I stammered, struggling to form a coherent thought. Walter. Who was he? And why hadn't I ever heard of him? What if he's connected to all of this? Emily suggested, her curiosity ablaze. A lump formed in my throat. If Walter was part of my mother's hidden history, then surely it was time to confront whatever skeletons existed. With a racing pulse, I urged Emily, let's find out what else she wrote about him. This could be the key to unlocking everything my past. Her truth, our truth. As Emily continued reading, the words on the page danced menacingly before me. I sensed we were on the brink of unveiling something that could bind us or tear us apart entirely. Each revelation seemed to whisper that the journey was far from over, and as secrets spilled into the open, I realized the diary held not just my mother's fears, but also a mirror to our own entangled lives. But what if the next page contained answers I wasn't ready to accept? A shiver coursed through me as I prepared for what the future might hold. Would we uncover clarity, or would darkness cast its shadow once again? The next chapter awaited, teetering on the cusp of revelation, and I couldn't help but wonder what truth would finally emerge. Stay tuned, because the winding path of discovery has only just begun. I stood there in the attic, lost in a whirlwind of emotions as Emily's voice continued to weave through the pages of my mother's diary. The mention of Walter hung heavily in the air like a dark cloud, casting shadows over everything I thought I knew about my family. Walter. Why does that name feel so familiar? I pondered aloud, trying to untangle the threads of memory that lay dormant in my mind. I had a vague recollection of stories, Perhaps an uncle or a family friend, but nothing concrete. Emily looked up from the diary, her eyes wide with a mix of fear and fascination. Mom, who is he? What if he was really important to Grandma? Her question cracked open a floodgate of anxiety within me. Was Walter a figure from my mother's past that she had deliberately kept hidden? I felt a chill race down my spine at the thought of secrets long buried resurfacing. I don't know, sweetheart, but finding out could change everything for us. Can I keep reading? She asked, her voice filled with eagerness, yet tinged with concern. I nodded, unable to shake the feeling that every word spelled out would draw us deeper into a web of complexity. As Emily resumed reading, her voice took on a rhythmic cadence, bringing each entry to life with vividness that felt all too real. May 1st, 1985. I saw him again today. His eyes, they were different, almost hungry. I can't shake this feeling that he's watching me. The words came alive, and I found myself leaning closer, entranced by my mother's struggles that felt painfully familiar. Had she been living in fear, trapped in an emotional cage? My heart raced as I absorbed her defiance and vulnerability in one breath. Was Walter a friend or an enemy? I muttered, barely aware of my own thoughts spilling out. Emily glanced up from the pages, her brow furrowed in confusion. It sounds like he scared her. Mom, I wouldn't want to have a friend like that. Neither would I, I replied, my voice thick with tension. But who knows what might have happened back then. May 5th, 1985, Emily continued, her voice trembling slightly as she pressed on. I didn't tell anyone what happened. I can't risk it. Not anymore. The diary trembled between her fingers, and I could see the worry etched across her young face. Mom, she sounds really scared, Emily said softly, her eyes reflecting concern. Do you think something bad happened to Grandma? My instincts screamed at me to protect her from the darker implications of my mother's words, but I realized I wasn't the only one grappling with this legacy. Emily deserved to know the truth just as I did. I think she was protecting herself and us from something she felt could hurt us. Let's keep going, Emily urged, determination lingering in her voice. May 10th, 1985. I tried to tell him the truth. I watched everyone I loved fall apart, but no one would listen. Walter has to be stopped. I need to protect my family. As I heard the desperation in my mother's voice, I felt the fragile strings of my own heart tighten. There was so much pain wrapped in those words. Mom, it seems like she was really scared of him, Emily remarked, a lightness of tone attempting to mask the gravity of the situation. It's like a story I would read in a book. I chuckled lightly at her observation, but the laughter felt hollow. Well, this is our family story, Em, and it's intertwined with all of us, in ways we're just starting to understand. May 15th, 1985, I can't escape the shadows. They loom over me, and I feel them creeping into my dreams. Walter's presence is suffocating. If only I could erase the memories, ... Each line etched into my mind like a fevered dream turning into a nightmare. As Emily paused to absorb the weight of those words, a thought struck me, a realization that cut deeper than I had anticipated. What if all of this has a connection to why my mother never believed me? My childhood memories. It suddenly felt like the walls of my reality were shifting, and I feared for the first time what I might find if I continued down this rabbit hole. What if it's not just Grandma's secrets but ours? Emily echoed, her voice more serious now. The realization hung in the air, heavy with implications that felt unbearable. What was my mother hiding? What was my truth? Keep reading, I urged, my voice steady despite the tidal wave of fear surging within me. I felt the urgency to uncover every detail. Each secret would guide us closer to answers. May 20th, 1985. I can't trust anyone anymore. I fear that if the truth comes out, it will ruin everything I hold dear. Maybe I've been too naive, thinking I could control this. Emily's voice quivered as she spoke the words. Each phrase twisted deeper into my gut, my heart pounding mercilessly. And just like that, I felt a shift, a realization that gnawed at my insides. Could everything my mother feared be connected to us? Could Walter pose a threat not just then but to my entire family all these years later? The questions spiraled in my mind, casting echoes that threatened to drown me in the past. What if Walter truly embodied the essence of a danger that never left, a darkness that branched out, poisoning the bonds of our family history? I could feel the tightness in my chest as one thought crystallized. There was so much more to uncover. "Mom," Emily's innocent voice pulled me from my thoughts. "What are we going to do if we find him? Do you think he's still out there?" It was a question that resonated, chilling me to my core. I had never considered that whatever threat my mother faced could still linger. I don't know, Em, I admitted, feeling the weight of the moment stifling us, but we need to figure this out, together. May 25, 1985. Today, I made a decision. I will do whatever it takes to keep my family safe, even if it means facing the truth, even confronting Walter. It's the only way. As Emily finished reading that entry, I felt her eyes searching mine for reassurance, for answers we both craved. I had never fully fathomed the depths of my mother's worries, nor the lengths she'd go to protect me. "Mom, we need to tell her," Emily said earnestly. "We need to find out how this all ends." The resolve in her voice ignited something within me, a determination to unearth the truth from the shadows that loomed overhead. And then, deep down, a new wave of fear washed over me. Did I truly possess the strength to confront whatever lay behind this family legacy? What if the unveiling of secrets came at a cost, more than either of us could bear? No longer shrouded in childhood innocence, we now ventured into the unknown, where the promises of revealing the past awaited with fervent anticipation. The next chapter loomed like a specter, whispering dark secrets, dreams, and phantoms begging to be acknowledged. We were on the edge of uncovering a truth, one that threatened to change everything. With a trembling hand, I took a deep breath and beckoned for Emily to continue. What happens next could hold the key to our understanding or perhaps unleash the very fears we pray to escape. As I gripped the edges of the diary, I felt a wave of determination surging within me, twisted, uncertain, but undeniably present. What awaited us in those next pages of our family history might shatter everything we believed, but it was about time we faced the truth. Stay tuned, because this journey into the heart of our deepest fears was only beginning, and the shadows were ready to speak. As Emily turned to the final page, I could see the tension etched across her face. "Mom," she said softly, "it's almost over. Are you ready?" The question hung in the air, charged with unspoken emotions. For months, we had been navigating the depths of my mother's secrets together, unearthing layers I had never dared to confront. "Let's do this," I replied, trying to mask the trembling in my voice. I could feel my heart hammering, a reminder of the gravity of our journey. Emily took a breath and began to read the closing entry, Junho 1985. I finally understand. The power of truth is greater than fear. Walter can't control me any longer. I'm ready to face him, to reclaim my story. Tears welled in my eyes as I realized the bravery it must have taken my mother to pen those words. She had been a fighter, just like I was beginning to be. She fought for us, didn't she? Emily looked up at me, her own eyes shimmering. "Yes, she did," I whispered, a wave of understanding washing over us. The diary wasn't just a collection of secrets, it was a testament to strength, love, and the bonds that connect us through pain and vulnerability. This wasn't the end of our journey, but the beginning of a new one, fueled by the power of truth. As I closed the diary, I knew it was time to create a new narrative for our family, one built on honesty and connection. Together, we'd face whatever lay ahead, honoring my mother's fight. If this story resonated with you, if you found strength in our journey, don't forget to hit subscribe and join us as we uncover more truths ahead. Thank you for sharing this with us together. We'll keep writing our story.